19.
I can see you.
And often overlooked as a subject. You know, mourning dogs, grackles. A lot of people just ignore them, but they have some beautiful iridescent feathers and some absolutely striking eyes. So this is quite nice. The arrangement, and as far as the composition is concerned, very, very good. Room left on the right-hand side for the bird to look into. He doesn't look like he's being bashed by the edge of the frame. It's nice. I like this. 26.
Dream stage.
This works. I love the way the feathers are all spread out. It's an unusual shot. And normally I wouldn't like that the eye was shut, but that's what they do. That's what they do. And it's a very pleasing arrangement. It's almost like a heart-shaped thing it's just really pleasant. I like it. 27.
I got you, babe.
Sure do. I'm not sure whether it's totally in focus, and I'm not really totally sure whether you need the entire reflection. The colors are nice, and the subject is nice. The I got you, babe, they're just like rubbing necks. They're not doing anything really personal, which sometimes they do. But I'd say it might be a little more effective if you didn't include the entire reflection, because it isn't a detailed, exact, total mirror-like reflection anyway. Cut it off here. And if you had in your frame, if you had more at the top and have already cropped it down, you didn't need to.
Autumn sunset.
What's really interesting about this is the fact that you've got such a mirror reflection of the clouds overhead. Clouds that you don't even see up here. It's really nice. I like this. 25.
Amber eyes.
You don't see the eyes well enough to really, something like that cat should be looking at you straight on. And it isn't. You can't even see its eye over here. It has one, but just not a way lot of white in it here. And 18.
Rocks and roots.
And I'd say here the exposure is a bit over. It could stand to be taken down quite a few notches in exposure here. The colors would be that much more impressive, and maybe even up the saturation a tiny bit, not a lot, but enough to give it some zip. It looks a bit washed out, but it's a good idea. It's a good contrast between the two. It just isn't working as well as it might. 21.
Young elk.
Hi, cutie. We can't even blame you for stick disease because your mommy left you there on purpose. Cute. 21.
Rainbow in the Pines.
I think I'd like to see more of the rainbow and less of the pines. And I don't know, it's very hard to get rainbows in focus, but you can do it. And hopefully in this situation you're not using a polarizer. You wouldn't have the rainbow at all. 18.
Expectations.
It's nice. They're both well exposed, and that's not all that easy to do with given the light background. But it looks like something they might want to put on their Facebook page. Again, I'm not much into snapshotty looking pictures for a camera club competition, so let's just say 17.
Dragon's Nest.
Again, I would appreciate a stroke around it so I can see where the edge of the frame is, but I can see where it merges here, which is fine. That way I can't tell over here. So it's, in terms of the placement of the flower in the frame, it's difficult to tell how far does this go over. I do like it. It's pretty well in focus, and especially in this part, which is the important thing, that's where your eye is drawn. It's very nice. 25.
The Onion Basket.
It works very well. Somebody has used a very, very nice technique with it to make it more painterly. I like that. 24.
Adorning the Path to the Groom.
Oh boy, it's just it's a good idea. There's a nice leading line here, and even in terms of the chairs in the background, but it just doesn't work because it's not all in focus. There's only one that's, for the most part, in focus. The rest isn't, and unless there's a really, really special reason why that happens, it's not effective. 17.
Sunrise at Lake Durant.
I think the sun has already riz. Boy, I don't know. I like the colors. I do. I like the colors, and I like the mirror reflections on the water. You don't put the horizon in the middle of the frame unless there's a really good reason, and I don't see a really good reason here. This is all extraneous stuff. There's nothing interesting going on in the sky up here, so that can just as well go. And using this tree as a frame is nice. It's pretty colors and everything, but there's maybe a bit too much of it. Is that supposed to be the subject? I don't think so. I think it's supposed to be a frame. So it should be further over, maybe not so much of it, and to cut some of this off. Otherwise, it's pretty. I think it might have been, in terms of the sunrise, a little bit prettier about 20 minutes earlier. I like this part. The colors are beautiful. This whole section is so pretty. I can get rid of some of this because it takes away from it. 20.
Chautauqua First Snow.
Oh, I didn't even see the snow. It just looks like the whiteness of the pier. But that's really an interesting shot. It's so full of leading lines and triangles and stuff going on that's almost natural looking rather than architectural. I like it a lot. The lighting is beautiful. There's steam coming up off the water. It's really pretty. 26. Oh my.
Plugging Jack.
Oh my. Totally interesting. I'm interested to see it, but I'm not sure about why. Outside of the fact that it's an oddball, interesting thing. Again, I'd like to see it on Facebook, but I don't want to judge it in a camera club. 17. Ooh.
Gray tree frog.
His head is nice, his bumpy body is nice, but his feet are overwhelming. And the background is kind of nasty. 17.
Limpkin with clam.
I love limpkins, and my goodness, a clam. That's not their usual fare. They usually like apple snails. Again, this is nice. It's nice. It's a typical picture of a limpkin. There's sun on it, but it's early sun. And again, if you could tone this down just the weest bit, so that this was a little bit darker. It's nice. I like it. I like the pool of water. I like the placement of the bird. There's not a lot of room up here, but hey, whatever. It's really pretty. I like this a lot. 27.
Serenity.
Oh, there's lots of serenity
Yeah,
there.
we're a serene group here today. I should be so serene, I'm not kidding.
Where are we? Are we in Alaska? And are we in, oh, never mind, I think I've been there. It's just not even. Okay. Wow, that is so overly bright. It's too bad. That's the way, I'll tell you, my last trip to Alaska, that's how everything looked all the time. Cloudy, foggy, 2 whole weeks full of cloudy, foggy, rainy, crappy weather. And I said, been there, done that, and done it better. It just wasn't good. Horrible season. I don't know, it's pretty busy. There's an awful lot going on. I like again, the flatness of the water, the reflections in the water. I'm not sure, I don't know what I would say you should focus on there's so many pictures in here. You've got the seaplane, you've got the water, it's like, why? You got the environment for sure. I can see why you've got the mountains in there, but again, they're not overwhelming. 19.
Light in the woods.
Yeah, interesting lighting, and again, I want to say it could do with a little toning down in terms of exposure, but then again, I like this part. That seems very well exposed. What is it with, maybe it is fog. It's an effective fog for whatever reason. It's pretty. 25.
Peony fire.
Okay, my suggestion would be crop so that you're right in on the center of the peony, and you don't have any of this stuff around here at all. And this wouldn't be there for distraction at all. And even if you just cropped it down here and maybe somewhere in here, so that, I don't know, it just would be, it would be a lot better. This part is for the most part in focus. It tends to fade off a bit up in here. You gotta think of how effective your arrangement on, how is the arrangement on the so-called page? What does it look like and how effective is it? And it's not doing the best that it can do. It just isn't doing it right here. It could, but it's not. Maybe it's the angle from which it's being photographed, I'm not sure. I'd say the lighting situation is good, which in many instances is not because people take pictures of flowers in bright, brilliant sunlight. This didn't happen here. This has possibilities, it just didn't make it. 20.
Winter cardinal.
Hi, Clarence. You didn't know that was his name, did you?
No, I didn't.
Clara is his wife. We have Clarence and Clara. He's pretty. It's hard, very hard to do these, I know, because I've tried. And I'm just finding it with the effect that it's having on the background, this sort of sketchiness going on, it's making me think that it's happening on him too, which is a shame, because I like him. Again, maybe it could stand to be cropped a little more than what it is. But I do like it. 24. Huh?
Thirsty?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Why would you? Seriously. I mean, even if you were, it's tipped. The arrangement is okay. Too much in the foreground, crop it off. Straighten out the bottle and tone down the background. But let's pretend that it's a monument of some kind and give it a 19.
Wolverine Park Marina.
Pretty. Look at that. Look at those reflections. How pretty is that? There's an awful lot here between the building and the ships on this side and the boats over here, but for some reason it works. Normally I would say there's way too much going on, but I like it. The way it's all arranged in the composition, look at the triangle. Maybe that's why I like it. I love triangles. Okay, let's give this a 24.
Pretty in pink.
Nicely in focus, really, really nicely in focus. And as much as there's a lot of background stuff, it seems to work. This is your main, look at how in focus that is. It shouldn't work and it does. So, hello, 25.
A whale of a time.
Wow. Is that lunch feeding going on there? And then especially these gulls, because, well, we won't talk about what it's all called, the food feeding ball and the whole thing, but I like this. 24.
Moon over Manhattan.
I'd say it's not as sharp as it should be. Don't know why. I don't know where it's taken from or what, a helicopter, what, you're moving. I don't know why it's not totally in focus. I've done some cell phone pictures like this and then that's why I know mine aren't in focus. I like the moon. This is nice to balance it out on this side, but again, I would like it to be more in focus than what it is, to be an effective shot. 21.
Just smile.
Okay, I'm going to pretend it's real and give it a 17.
Snacking.
Well, it's almost like taking a grab shot of your sister or your son or your daughter or whoever to take this kind of photograph of the horse. It's just not the most flattering. It's more like a snapshot than it is an interesting image. Probably you wouldn't have any sort of accoutrements on the horse, bridles or what have you. For being taken indoors, it's not a bad exposure, but I'd say it's not as effective as it could be. You've got all the architecture of the barn up on top intersecting the horse's ears. Just try to catch him outdoors in a photogenic situation. $18.
The brick barn.
An interesting thing happens with buildings. You can be as anal as you care to be about lining up the edge of the building so that it's straight again on one side. And look what happens on the other side. It looks like it's falling over. And again, there are ways to fix that in Photoshop, and if you're going to do architectural things, you probably should learn how to do it. As far as the brick barn is concerned, there are some facets of it that might make interesting. You might just, this entire side of the thing just all on its own has interesting features. It's almost like two eyes and a nose and a mouth. I mean, there are a lot of things you could do besides the whole thing, and then you wouldn't have that keystoning effect. 18.
King of the Arctic.
Nice. I have a preference for color for things like this, but it works well. Certainly black and white. It's certainly a polar bear. Hello, it's white. You can tell he's perhaps looking for something to eat because the water's splashing up here. You know something's going on, and it's definitely not a zoom shot. I might be looking for a little bit more detail in the face, a little bit, I don't know. I want him to look at me. I'm using all. Of course, if he's looking for his dinner, that's another whole thing. 21.
The golden hour.
And that is, oh my, what interesting trees. Look at the textures on, and this is beautiful, 28.
Open track.
Well, there's a leading line. It's definite, and it's leading me right into a big wall here. As you can see, the other side of the tunnel, which in a lot of instances is not possible. But I don't find that it has an overpowering interest, at least not to me. 19.
There's a red light and a green light. I wonder what that means.
That they both lit up.
19, right?
Yeah.
Mountain storm approaching.
Well, it's an interesting scene. Again, I'm curious, what would it look like in color? I'm not finding that it has any real wow factor. It's just, it's nice, but that's the end of it. There needs to be something more here than what there is. 20.
Blue chick trying to keep up with the mom.
Yeah, that's interesting, because usually they're smack on the back. It's a nice shot. What's nice about it is something that's difficult to get, because to be on, their most effective shots of birds would be to be eye level with them, and that's very difficult with water birds, to be eye level, and someone has been able to be, I don't know, they were in a canoe or whatever, to get this picture, but it's quite nice. 27.
Autumn leaves.
Well, an interesting composition, good exposure. But that's about it. Maybe we could straighten this out a little bit more. And maybe there's a reason why it's appearing slanted, because the water's flowing in that direction or from where you were standing, but it is possible to straighten it out, and there's no reason not to. It wouldn't make any difference to these trees that don't look totally like they're straight up and down anyway. Oh boy, 20.
Rainy night at Bestor Plaza.
Interesting lighting, I will say that. Wow. But again, I don't know, to me it looks like it's going downhill. Right. On the other hand, if you look at this section, it doesn't. So it's like, is it or isn't it? 20.
Smiling bear.
Difficult with a black bear or any other black animal, black bird, is to be able to expose properly for the bird, for the animal, and not have it overexposed in the environment, and that's exactly what's happened here. So as much as I can appreciate the bear, the overexposure of the entire environment around him makes it difficult. So if it would be possible at all to crop it, that might be one solution to making, because this part is less obtrusive than this part. So personally, I don't want to be that close to him. I didn't bring my bear bells. Ray said I didn't need them. You did, didn't you, Ray? You said, don't bring your bear bells, we don't need them. I'm literally, that's true. Okay, oh boy, 18. I'm really having trouble with some of these. Oh, wow.
Dewy dragon.
Very, 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 very nice. 29. Is this a grub seed?
Nope.
Is it?
No, it's not like.
No, it's
He
beautiful. You
was
taught
there,
somebody
though.
well.
He was there. Giving pointers.
Bass Harbor, Maine.
Oh my God, the color is gorgeous. I've seen this shot so many times, but never with these beautiful colors. Oh wow. 27.
Luna and Leaves.
No. This must be a group. I don't know. 29. They're all so beautiful. I know I can't do it. I've tried. Get out of here.
Kathy, was yours in?
In that one,
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
the one from the letter S.
Okay, Bob?
Yeah, I had
McConnell.
two in that one, so you
Huh.
can split.
Okay, bronze, looks like there's a tie. Nishant Koradia, sorry if I'm killing the name. Chris Lyons, tied for first. Silver, Tony again. Gold, Ning Shen. Diamond, looks like we have a tie for two, Dorothy Rocky and Dorothy Rocky. Wow. Okay, we have 329, Jack Annan,
Oh, Jack again.
Gail Winslow, and Bob Grubb.
You better tell Jack he owes me.